Hi, I think this is a great opportunity to be able to tell a story about my dad, who was a very important figure in my life. I love my dad very much. He loved me. I grew up with three brothers, and he always made me feel very special as a young girl, singing me songs, and always having my back, even whenever things might get rough with my mom. My dad always seemed to have my back for me, and I really continue to appreciate that. And and even as I grew older and I moved away, and my mother passed away when I was 23. So my dad was truly my only parent in some very formative years. And I never did anything without asking a little bit of advice from my father. Do I take this job? Do I marry this man? Do I take this insurance? What do I do about my car? There were so many things that I never did without first running things past him. Um, but again, no one is perfect. My dad had a horrible gambling problem. So I would get really frustrated with my father, who ended up gambling like $250,000 away and really dying destitute on Title 19. But in the end, I know that I loved him and he loved me. And towards the end of my father's life, he died in 2010, he did develop dementia. And I started to grieve at that moment because I could no longer talk to my dad and ask his advice because he just, was very confused. He wasn't able to provide any really good information, but he was one of the happiest men that I ever knew. He always made me laugh. He loved my children. He loved my three girls. And just to say that, he always honored us. He always honored me. My dad died in an ICU in 2010, and before that, he'd been in a nursing home. So he was uh, uh, colonized with MRSA, which is very common in nursing homes, but it prevents them from they have to go into isolation, and people going to visit had to be in isolation gowns. So I put on the dingiest yellow isolation gown the night before my dad died to go visit him at the hospital. And he's like, "Oh, I love what you have on today." And I'm like, "This old thing, Dad." And it was just like the most wonderful memory that I was able to spend many, many, many years with my dad. I was very lucky to have him, but to this day, I miss him every day.